The Crusades. What are the Crusades? They were a series of religious wars by Christians in Europe against Muslims. Today we'll be focusing on the three biggest. The First Crusade. It started when the Byzantine Emperor asked for help to keep the Turks away and offered to reunite the Christian church. So the Pope at the time, Pope Urban II, gathered a large army of mostly poor people to take back the Holy Land Jerusalem by saying that if they killed a Muslim, all would be forgiven. He also exaggerated stories of their brutality. So the Crusaders marched to Constantinople to help, but the Byzantines were horrified. They expected a small elite fighting force, but got a massive army of mostly poorly armed men. So the Emperor Alexius Cornelius led them through his kingdom and said that they would give military and monetary support. But then he led them out and locked the gate. The emperor thought that the Turks would make quick work of them, but against all odds they did not. They pushed into the Holy Lands and took Jerusalem from the Turks, and also set up 4 Christian states to govern the land. They called them the Crusader states. The Second Crusade. It was after one of the Crusader states fell back into Muslim hands that the Crusader fever was reignited. Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, considered the holiest man of the day, endorsed the crusade and gathered an army, letting the crusade begin, but stopped them from massacring Jews like they did in the previous one. Then they headed off to retake Jerusalem, but the Byzantines and Turks were ready and killed most of them. The ones that made it through and tried to reclaim the Holy Land got killed by the descendants of the first Crusaders. They thought that they were a band of thugs sent to take their land, and the ones that returned home came home empty-handed. The Fourth Crusade. The Fourth Crusade was started by Pope Innocent. This was the third and most professional crusade at the time. The Pope contracted ships and supplies in Venice for them to use. However, nobody knew who was going to pay the 85,000 silver marks sum. The deal almost fell through, but Venice said if they retake Zara, a part of the empire that had just rebelled, they could have the ships. So they did, but Pope Innocent III was mad and excommunicated them. This was because it was a new addition to the papal states. Then they found a pretender to the Byzantine throne who was recently exiled. He said that he would give them a massive sum of money if they made him emperor. They agreed and sailed to Constantinople. They met little resistance because the emperor and many others fled the city. They placed the pretender on the throne, but when they were going to leave, the pretender got killed. The Crusaders headed back and found the city locked down and sieged it. They were the first ever to get inside by siege. They sacked the city, then decided that they had done enough and returned to Europe with the artifacts and wealth that they had gathered. The Pope was forced to unexcommunicate them.